Going on?
Hey, how
How
are
you doing?
you?
I'm
We are.
good.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's everybody? Can you hear me? You hear me fine? I got my AirPods in. We're
Everyone?
good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Cool.
Awesome. So, how are you? How is the lockdown for you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's getting better. Although the US is starting to have a little bit of flare-ups here and there, but New York's getting better. And we're starting to open things, so it's starting to get a little bit back to normal. Um, but not quite normal at all yet. It's definitely I'm not shooting. The space is empty, so there's not much going on.
Yeah. So, you are in your studio right now, right? You told us you
Yeah,
moved to your studio. Yeah. Awesome.
yeah. You want a quick tour? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to see this operation? All right, here we
Yeah.
go. Here, I'll flip the camera around. This is my little podcast area. So I got a bunch of mics, and I got my lighting. I got my Westcott Flex kit. I got my EOS R with a 15 to 35 on it. It's my backdrop that I put up,
Awesome.
and Flex kit with a Cinebox on it, softbox on it. I got Oliphant backdrops, which Sarah Oliphant, you guys got to check this. She's amazing. This place, I got an Edelchrome operation because I'm getting into more video. I know a lot of photographers are swaying towards video. This is like the lighting kit on the ground, like Flex kits galore on the ground. I got a Canon 4000 printer. Let me see. I got fake windows I put up. That's like wallpaper. I just wanted to make it look like a studio, so I put some fake windows up there.
Awesome.
Oh, the tripod guys are in here. Hey guys. So here's another. So I'm a big fan of Sarah Oliphant, and she makes these backdrops. So this is one that I just got. I haven't shot this one yet. She just painted it for me, and I got this one. I have tried this one a little bit, and then I love this one behind it. This one's amazing. So I've got these set up, ready to go. They're pretty cool. And then this one's got another side to a different side. So I just like using the backgrounds. And then here's the white psych. Makeup, computers. I'll show you my front room's over here. I got to turn the light on. I got a waiting area. I've been here since 2008. So these are some of my shots from, I don't know if you guys watched the show Lost. I went to Hawaii and I shot.
I do, and I have a question also for that.
Oh, you do? This is Sophia. I don't know if you know her, if you watch Modern Family. This is Gare, my buddy. It's my favorite headshot that I've ever taken. And yeah, this is from Lost. This is my favorite portrait I've ever taken. He was the painter on Lost. I just love the workbench and all this. Look, the light was flickering. That was cool. Look at that. That's funny. So that's the studio, guys. You get to see, if you're ever in New York, come by and check it out. Say hi.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I was hanging out back here in the this is where I hang out when I do my stuff usually. So I'll go back here, see if anybody has any questions or wants to talk about anything. I hope you guys are doing okay over there. What's it like over there?
It's actually pretty bad here. So you guys are going down the curve, and we guys are going up right now. So it's actually pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's good to hear that New York is doing better, because it was for a lot of time, it was the epicenter of everything related to Corona, right? So yeah, it's good to hear that it's going down.
Yeah. I haven't been out since I got here. I mean, I went to Brooklyn to pick up the backdrops, but that was it. I did one job where I shot some of the police doing, like, we were giving out donuts and they were for COVID, and I went around to some of the precincts and took some pictures, but that was really it. So today I'm going to my childhood home in New Jersey where I grew up. So I'm excited it'll be the first time since March 17th when I got back here that I'm actually going somewhere else.
Awesome. All right. So we have a lot of questions for you, but I just wanted to ask you before we start is which one is my good side?
Oh, I think you're a righty. There, that one. Go the other way. No, you fall apart. Much better. There,
Yeah.
that side.
So for all the interview, I'll be talking like this with you
Yes, that's better. See, if you go this way,
now. Yeah.
go this way for a second. Keep going. See the nose changes. The side of the face isn't as open on that side. Go the other way. And it opens. Now you're more open to the camera. Yeah, and keep your chin down and out. Stop fooling around.
All right. So I'll be sitting like this the whole interview then.
Like this. Everybody like this.
Oh yeah.
Shebang is right. I'm getting shebangs here.
Yeah, a lot of shebangs here. All right, so guys, we have Peter Hurley here. I mean, most of you already know him. He is a big shot headshot photographer based out of New York. He has won various awards. He has done various workshops. He has millions of clients. He has millions of customers. So he's a very famous headshot photographer. He runs a company called Headshot Crew, which has a lot of headshot photographers from all over the world. It's like a big community, just like our World Photographers Club. And we are psyched to have him. And we're going to ask him a bunch of questions. And if you guys have any questions for Peter, please go ahead, write it in the comment section, and we'll try to get to all of them. All right, Peter, should we start?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. All right. So, Peter, why don't you tell us about the company and a little bit about your team?
Well, I was shooting headshots for a long time, and
Guys, I think there is some issue with the connection. All right, guys. I think we are back. Let me see if Peter is also here. Okay, he's here. Hey.
is it back?
Yeah.
What the heck happened?
I don't know. Some disconnection happened. That's okay. So let's go ahead. Yeah, you were telling us about yourself and your company.
Yeah, so what happened was people would call me and ask for headshots, but I was too expensive. So I was like, why don't I train somebody to do what I do at a cheaper price point? And that just makes sense. Then I don't lose that client and I'll figure out whatever. And then that turned into, wait a minute, well, if I can do it in New York, why don't I do it in LA? So I got a guy in LA and I started doing it in LA. And then I was like, well, if I can do it in New York and LA, why don't I just do it everywhere in the world? So now we've gotten photographers and we train them on my techniques and how to work the way, because I firmly believe that if there was a better way to take a headshot, then I would be doing it. I'm a student of the game, so I always try and get better. But I think the system that I have really works, and a lot of photographers are making a ton of money off of it. So it's really cool. And we now have 17,000 photographers all over the world. It's free to join to get a profile on the Headshot Crew. Actually, we're going to break a Guinness Book of World Records. I just sent out an email. I don't know if you guys if you're on my email list, you probably got it. We're going to shoot over 10,000 headshots on July 22nd, and we're looking for photographers to sign up. So if you go to, I believe it's on my Instagram. It should be on my Instagram bio. If it's not, I'll put it there right after this. But you can sign up and be part of the 10,000 Headshot Initiative. So we're going to
Awesome.
shoot as many headshots as we can in one day, which is amazing. But the site is a coaching platform and it's a referral engine. So those people who pay for the coaching, I don't want to refer work to people who I don't know what they're doing or what they're capable of. So you have to be part of the coaching program to get into the referral portion of it. And it refers jobs on a daily basis all over the world, depending upon the quality of your work and where you're located and the competition in your area is whether or not you get jobs. But those jobs go out quite frequently on a daily basis. People are getting jobs through the crew based on, you know, their work. So I coach them up and give them jobs. And then I started a booking agency called Headshot Booker. And that is a agency where we're going to go after big corporations that are global and standardize their headshots all over the world. So we're using our photographer team at Headshot Crew for that. So we will be going all over the world, you know, doing that kind of stuff, which is very exciting. I co-founded it with Tony Tafe and Lauren Lieberman and Joe Pelosi.
Okay, that is awesome. So guys, if you are a headshot photographer, please go ahead and sign up on the Headshot Crew. I mean, we have researched the website a lot, and it's pretty awesome. All right. So so how are you keeping up in this lockdown after all of this is over? Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, I can hear you, but my screen is blocked. Hold on. If I lose you, I'll come right back in. Nobody go anywhere. I just want to try and get rid of this thing.
Okay.
What do I do? How do I get rid of this?
What's there on the screen? I mean, I don't know. All right, he has left. I think he's gonna join back. Let me just try to add him. All right. All right, guys. Till the time he is coming back, please keep asking your questions. We have a lot of questions, but we'll still try to ask any questions that you guys post. Yeah. All right. Yes, Steve. I think Peter is pretty amazing too. I mean, we saw all of his videos. We have been talking to him for about 2-3 weeks now, and he actually is pretty. He says, "I'm back." Peter, I've already added you. Let me just try to do it again. All right, we have him. It'll just be like a couple
There we
of seconds.
go. All right.
Hey, welcome back.
Oh my gosh, that's better. Yeah, it was weird before. Hopefully this hangs tough this time. All right, hit me with some. What do you got? You got some questions going?
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, how do you see the business of headshot photography? Because right now, as you said, not a lot of business is coming. So how do you see it changing over the next few months? Because people would still try to stay indoors, or So how do you see the business changing?
I think obviously it's not going to be as vibrant as it was before, but I think photographers are figuring out ways to bob and weave and figure out other things to shoot, whether they're shooting, you know, real estate or landscapes for that matter. One of our guys on Headshot Crew got really smart and he started shooting all the safety precautions that companies are taking to show their clientele how clean and disaffected they are due to COVID. So he's charging to go into these places and shoot, you know, all the different setups they have with the masks, with the gels, and with all that stuff. And I think that's fantastic. So I think photographers are going to do that kind of thing, and I think it's going to come back. Obviously, I also think that headshot photography is going to be on the rise because people are going to understand how important it is. Now we're all Zooming, and the people who don't have a professional headshot on Zoom or so I think people will see the value in it. And a lot of companies are going to work from home. So everybody, you know, you don't want to just see your name on there. To look professional, you've got to have a headshot, and it's got to be professional. So every photographer should be learning how to do this really well. So I think it's really important, and I think it's going to be something that continues to grow, luckily.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, we really see this, not just in the headshot business, but we actually see we have a lot of wedding and fashion and travel photographers on our platform. And what we see is that this year, everything is going to slow down a lot. But from next year, everything is going to pick up. So we're just going to hang in there and see how the business turns up. But I think from next year, starting from next year, we'll try to go back to normal.
Yeah, I was supposed to come there. I was so upset because I was in Australia, and then they had me coming to Mumbai for I was going to do a workshop sponsored by Pro Photo, and then it just didn't. You know, obviously I had to come back here, so it was a mess. So eventually, I'd like to get back there, and yes, whatever it takes, JDP.
Yeah. So whenever you are in India, please hit us, and we will just definitely try to connect and just come and meet you.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about your early days. How did you convince your first client to pay for your creativity?
Oh my gosh, my first client was a friend of mine, gave me a job, and my wife was just calling me, and I'm like, I don't know why she's calling me, and why is this over here? Anyway, one of my friends gave me my first job, and it was for Reebok. Let me just write to my wife and tell her.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Bugging me.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, so a friend of mine was an art buyer at an ad agency, and I think, you know, I think if you look at your life, it's always people that have made big changes in it for you, probably. For me too, and I think it's helping others that makes such a huge deal. And you know, it's like this woman, her name's Josette. She was at an ad agency, and we were childhood friends. And sorry, my wife's still going at it. So when I picked up a camera, I said, "Hey, I picked up a camera," and she said, "Well, show me your work, and you know, if you're good, I'll give you some jobs." And I was like, "Really?" So I showed her some of my work, and she said, "All right, I got your first job for you." And it was shooting a pair of sneakers for Reebok, and I was not a still photographer, and I hadn't shot product, and I was shooting just and I busy person, I guess everything's going haywire right now. So she gave me the first pair of sneakers. I was freaking out. I shot it, and she loved it, and they photoshopped it into ads. So what would happen is Reebok would shoot an ad campaign, and they'd have whatever sneakers they had that day. But then as new pairs came out that they wanted to put in ads, they had to reshoot them to put them in the ad. So I got to shoot them. And I shot 11 pairs of sneakers that year. It was awesome.
Yeah, so getting your first client as Reebok must be pretty awesome, right? I mean, we all still struggle to get that big clients. Okay, so let's just take a few audience questions. I mean, a lot of people were asking. People are saying that you should join Headshot Crew. That is pretty amazing, guys. Please go ahead and do it.
Of course, why not? Actually, there's a free month of coaching if you want to do it for free for a month. It's free to sign up completely, but you don't get in the coaching. If you want to try the coaching, you got to go to the gold level and try it for a month. And then if you like it, you stay. If not, it doesn't charge you anything.
Awesome. All right. So somebody has asked, can you be a successful professional photographer using a crop sensor camera like Fuji?
Oh my gosh, JDP's in here. One of my buddies, two of my buddies, Pedro and JDP, both use Fujis. And I don't think, and John David, if you go to JD Pittman on here, he's in here. Are you still in here? He was in here. you can look at all his work and it's phenomenal. And of course, yeah, you can do anything with a crop sensor these days.
Yeah. So is equipment that important when you're actually starting in headshot journey, or which was your first camera? How did you start?
I started with film. So my first professional camera was a Mamiya 645 because at the time I was modeling and all the photographers I shot with shot medium format.
Yeah.
So that was, that was the deal. So I was like, well, I'm going to get a medium format if I'm going to go professional. And then that led into getting a Contax 645. And then I went digital and I got a digital back. And I was medium format until I hooked up with Canon and started shooting the 5DSR. And then I went to DSLRs, and now I'm mirrorless with the EOS R. Soon R5, I hope.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So we actually got another question related to the same thing. Can you make a living with APS-C in Fujifilm? So guys, he has already answered that. All right. So how does one start towards photographing celebrities? How is it working with big celebrities?
I think celebrities, you need to have a great body of work so that either the agent or the manager or the publicist trust you. So once you're trusted, then you get that kind of clientele because you've created a body of work that they know they're going to get something good. So I've shot a number of celebrities over the years. And it's all based off of the fact that I've done it before or that I've got work that they like. Most of it came from clients who believed in me. So the first celebrities you get will usually come from clients that believe in you. One of the ways you can get celebrities is by having an amazing portfolio and then finding their publicists and saying, hey, look at this work I do. I'd love to shoot so-and-so. Obviously no charge. I have this idea, and show them a concept and see if the celebrity likes it, you'll get them. I mean, they need content, they constantly need content to send out to their fans. So you can do that, but you've got to have a look or a body of work that they resonate with. Otherwise, I mean, if you've got talent, it shows through for sure.
And is it different working with celebrities than normal people in a studio? I mean, I've heard they give you like only 10-20 minutes to get your headshots and then they're gone. Is it like that?
It depends on the person. Everybody's different. I've found some celebrities are just amazing to work with and give me a lot of time, and some like don't give me the time of day and like are real kind of nasty and like not easy to work with. And it just depends on the person. What I found is that fame or success just brings more of who you are to what you're doing. So if the person was kind of a jerk before they were a celebrity, when they become a celebrity, they're a total asshole. If they're a really nice person before they become a celebrity and they become a celebrity, they're just the nicest people in the world. So it just totally depends on the personality. It could also be that day, it could be that particular day. I had a celebrity that I was working with, and on that particular day, it was not pretty and it was tough. But, you gotta, I mean, the whole thing about being a portrait photographer is teaming up with your subject and connecting with them. So, sometimes it's the handler, like the PR person is like with Sofia Vergara. She was amazing with me. Like, I had the best time with her, but I was totally stressed out because of her publicist who came with her was tough. I was like, oh, I got to get around this person but Sophia was great, but that's what the person does. They're like a handler. They block, all these people coming at them. But the most important thing you can do, and this is something that I've learned over time, is nail down your craft so you're confident going in, because you're going to be, I mean, at least for me, I really get a kick out of shooting celebrities because I think it's cool. It gives you clout. It makes you, people look at your work more. It helps your portfolio. It helps you get more work. So that, and creating images of them, people recognize them. So then your images become recognizable. So it puts a little emphasis on the day and gets the adrenaline rushing, and, you've got to perform. So knowing exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to do it is hugely important.
Yeah. And so how does one start in this business? Because nowadays there are a lot of headshot photographers. So now, how do you get your first clients? How do you actually, ask them to pay for it? What should be if I want to get into this business? What should be my first steps?
I think the first thing is, obviously, if you haven't charged anybody yet, you have to have a product that you're selling that you're confident with. So you have to photograph people for free, develop a look, make sure people like it, make sure it's good, and then put a price tag on it. And the price tag is going to be based off of your comfort level and what you feel it's worth, and also the market you're in potentially. So, for instance, I didn't create the $1,000 headshot. It was already here when I got to New York, but I didn't start charging $1,000. I started charging $250 is what I started with, because I felt comfortable. I didn't really know the value in my work, and I needed to start somewhere. And then I raised it every month I was busy. So, but once you start, I started charging for film back then because, you had to pay for the film. There's no excuse now because you got a digital camera. So that, but when I had film, I said, look, I have to develop this film. Do you mind just paying $20 for the development? And they were like, sure. So I did it. And then I just, that's just the way. And then I just kept going up from there. Awesome. But now it's digital. So I don't know what you tell them. Hey, can you throw me a couple bucks for lunch? I don't know. Can you throw me a couple bucks for some SD cards?
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So this is an very important question. It's about your YouTube channel. So tell us more about the Headshot Crew News channel. And somebody was asking about the mustache also. So I also want to know about that.
Oh, I shaved the mustache, so I don't know what we're going to do. So we decided every week on Headshot Crew, we have like things that go on. We have crew casts, which are live crew casts, 3 or 4 days a week, depending on which group you're in. It's Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are for Tuesdays are contests and reviews. Wednesdays, we do a success track and a portrait track. And then Thursdays, we do a hot topics. So we bring people in to discuss that. And Fridays are our retouching academy. So we're live. So we have these, we have news every week about winners, who won what. We do a gear of the week. I do a thing called Weekly Wisdom. So we always put it on a newsletter. And I just decided, I didn't decide. My friend Caraminder was like, everybody thinks you look like Will Ferrell. You look like the Anchorman. I grew the mustache. And the minute I shaved it, he's like, you got to do Anchorman. So we were like, okay, let's just do crew news, and I'll do it as the Anchorman. So as Ron Burgundy. So we did one, and it was a huge hit. Everybody loved it. So I did the second one, and I was rushing, and it was all out of focus. So I was really upset. So I kind of hid that one. And then in that one, I shaved the mustache. So I can't do it anymore as Ron Burgundy, or I'm trying to figure it out. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But I liked it. It was fun, and the team was liking it. So it's not going to be a weekly thing. It might not be a monthly thing. We'll see. We're going to do it on and off.
Yeah, it's fun. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it was pretty funny also. I saw a couple of them. They were pretty funny. I mean, and delivering news and stuff, that was actually very good. So actually, we at World Photographers Club, we also do a lot of things very similar to Headshot Crew, like competitions and, weekly reviews and stuff. So that way we are pretty similar. I'd love to collaborate with you guys if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, that was cool. It was cool. We'd love that.
Yeah, awesome. The last question is this. So on your website, you have a section of photos from the series Lost. I personally love that series. I've watched it. I mean, every season, every year, we used to wait and watch every episode, except the last season that was pretty bad, but all the other episodes were pretty awesome. So tell us how that gig came up, and how was your experience working with all these amazing artists?
With the Lost thing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was my best job. So I flew to Hawaii, got to shoot them all. I was out in the jungle shooting, and it was their last day, so it was really cool. I had a really good time. It was great. And then we came back here and we did an exhibition in New York of the prints. So that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, awesome. So I personally love that series. I used to watch it with my friends. I was in US at that time when the series was there. So that was pretty awesome.
That's the other thing is I never watched it. So
Ah,
when I got the job, I was like, this is good. I don't want to be starstruck. So I
yeah.
watched like a synopsis of like a real, like the Cliff Notes version.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, this is kind of cool. But it was cool working with them. And it was the same thing. Like some of them gave me the time of day and some of them were like, okay, we're done. We got to get this over with, type thing.
Awesome. All right. So, yeah. So, what advice do you have for building relationship with publicists? Somebody
Oh
asked this
my
question.
gosh, I'm not the best at that. That's for sure. I think you got to get a list of publicists and then just go down the list and hopefully, obviously, again, it all stems from your work. If your work's good and you go to a publicist and say, "Hey, I really like your talent," I would pick out specific people and I would start with like sometimes the best thing is when you pick people that are up and coming because they really need the work and they don't necessarily have the jobs yet, but then you get a picture of them and then they make it big and then you're huge. It just happens. So sometimes publicists won't give you their top celebrity, but they'll give you, hey, this person
Yeah.
needs pictures, and then you take those pictures and the next thing you know, that person books something huge and then you build a rapport with them and maybe they'll ask for you again. That happened to me a lot, which is really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So, people have been asking about your equipment and what's your lighting equipment. I think Arun, Peter just gave a tour of his studio. After the session, please go back and watch the video again. Can you give some advice to beginner photographers? Uh, Peter, can you give some advice to beginner photographers?
Yeah, I mean, if you're beginning, first of all, you have to get your technique down. So you got to know the ins and outs of your camera. You got to know how to take a good picture. If you're going to do portraits, then you've got to start to worry. Once you get your technique down, then you got to start to figure out how to direct people in your own way. You have to make a connection with the person. And if you don't have the ability to do that, I suggest you go shoot some still life or some landscapes or something, food, something that doesn't move, something inanimate. Otherwise, you're going to have to connect with your subject.
Yeah. Awesome. Somebody has asked, when you take a headshot of so many people who are from different country or religion, but what is it like working with them? I mean, are all the people same? I mean, how do you
No, I think,
convince
well,
them? How do you make them?
I think the human face is the coolest thing to look at on the planet for me. So I like every ethnicity. So and I usually don't know who's coming in my door. Like, I don't meet them. I don't know where they're from. I don't know what they look like. Usually, if it's somebody that I know I'm shooting that I do some research on, I might know what they look like, but that doesn't mean I met them. So it's making a conscious effort. It's people skills. Like, you got to learn how to talk to people and how to get to know people. But different ethnicities is what it's all about. As a portrait photographer, it's so cool. That's why I said, all this stuff going on, like there's looting outside my apartment and everything and all this Black Lives Matter stuff, which I really get. But I said, I always looked at different ethnicities as an opportunity, not looking, oh, I don't want to shoot this. I never looked at skin or color or anything except as a palette for myself as a photographer. So I love it, whether you're brown or black or red or green, or I never cared really. I always say I shoot one race, the human race, and I think it's so cool and it's so varied. And my daughters are identical twins and they look so different. So how could you not get excited about having a different face in front of your camera? It's so cool.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, do you edit your own photographs?
My retoucher is my assistant, so she does the retouching in house. I used to have an assistant. I mean, I used to have a retoucher that did it for years and years and years and years, and then he retired, and now we do it. My assistant does it. I do the editing, edit down the photos to the ones I want to use, and picking the shot, and then she retouches.
Okay, somebody's asking, what have you been doing during quarantine?
I've been doing a lot of stuff with Headshot Crew. I've been learning video a little bit more, getting into video, like using this Edelchrome thing, which is really cool. Like I never knew video, so now I've been messing with video and doing a lot of podcasts. I've got a lot of podcasts to put up, actually. A lot of people have been podcasting with me and doing stuff like this, and I have to get the links up on Headshot Crew. So. Anyway, but yeah, it's starting to get old. I really want to shoot. But you know, it is what it is.
All right. So you use Lightroom or Photoshop?
I use Capture One and Photoshop.
Oh, okay, awesome. All right. And what is your go-to lens?
Go-to lens, 85-1.2 DS right now. RF 85-1.2 DS is the lens that I go to for headshot photography, except I think with the coronavirus, I'm going to go 70-200 and move it back to like 135 so I can get a couple of extra feet away from my subject. Just playing it safe, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So let's get some questions from our list. How important it is to connect with your subjects when taking portraits?
Well, I think I've already hit that. I think that I always say direction's the final ingredient in portraiture. And I think that, and it doesn't have to be, you know, it has to be your direction. Like it can be a quiet, non-verbal direction. It's still a direction. It's just everybody's different and everybody does it differently. I have ways that I do it that I teach because I can only teach my way of doing it. But the concept I try and teach is that you really have to push your boundaries and come up with a repetitive shtick, if you will, like the way you roll that that allows you to repeat that, because repetition's a resource for you. Like if you repeat the same thing over and over again, you're going to get more confidence. And when you're on a shoot, confidence is key. So you really want to make sure you create something that's repetitive for yourself. And then once you get good enough with the same stuff, you can jump around and do different things and then try and push your boundaries.
Yeah. So when a client comes to you, like somebody, if I just walk into your studio, so do you like talk to me before starting a shoot, or do you want to know what I'll be using the photos for, or you know, stuff like that? I mean, do you like connect with me before the shoot, or just with your experience, you can just look at my face and tell me what angle and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I don't do any coaching before they're in front of my camera. I coach in camera. So I just found that if you coach them or talk about their face or talk about what you're going to be doing, that it creates the person's already stressed. Now you're giving them stuff to think about that's probably more stressful, and you want to take that stress off. So I don't talk about anything photographic before they get in front of my camera. But when they walk in the door, I do ask them what they need the pictures for. I always ask how they found me. I'm always curious of that. I try and do search for a common thread, like, you know, where are you from? I mean, you know, talk about general people skills. Like imagine you're at a dinner party and, you know, and you got invited by somebody and you both got invited, you know, one person there, but you don't know each other. You have like a connection with that person. So it's it's kind of like that. They walk in and they're hiring me, so they believe in me. So then we just, you know, communicate with people skills.
Yeah. And when they walk in, do you like ask them to bring a change of clothes or the color of clothes or something like that? I mean, clothes are pretty important for lighting and stuff, right? So
I ask them to bring a ton of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I want them to bring, I tell them to bring, just for a one headshot session, they bring between 10 and 15 tops.
Okay.
Because I'm always shooting for myself. And if they bring 10 or 15 tops, but they have no style, then I can find one top I like, and then I'll shoot a bunch of others. But if they bring like 5 tops, then I have no choice. So I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah. Somebody is asking me what is the worst mistake during the shoot. Well, that I mean, a photographer can make?
Worst mistake is to direct them in a way that they don't like and then keep doing it. A lot of photographers only have one form of direction, and then they like for instance, a photographer might. I don't like photographers that tell jokes. When I've been shot by photographers that tell me a joke, I'm like, I just can't deal with it. First of all, it takes too much time. The joke's probably stupid. So then they go in to tell another joke. And now I'm just like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm like, I modeled. So, you know, if they do that to me, I hate it. So you have to understand what you do and how it resonates with your subject. So if you do something that they don't like, you have to backpedal, understand that you said that didn't work for them, and go on to something else.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, do you also shoot natural light portraits, or do you always use studio lights?
I started out as a natural light shooter, and I shot natural light for most of my career up till I got a studio with no windows, and then I started to shoot lit. And now I shoot 90%, 95% lit.
Okay. And do you use flashes or reflectors or strobe lights?
I use
Can you
LEDs.
hear me? Your voice was...
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I use LEDs that I designed with Westcott. It's called the Peter Hurley Syndicate. It's an LED panels. They're right here on the floor. Hold on. Right there, those suckers. I use those, and I also use ProPhoto strobes. I have speed lights. I have Canon speed lights, but I don't use them very often.
Yeah.
I really use this 90% of the time, and then I'll add ProPhoto strobes to the mix.
Okay, awesome. And what is your, I mean, I know I've seen most of your interviews by now. So you started shooting on white backgrounds in the start, but now you moved to black and more colored backgrounds. So what do you prefer right now? And do clients ask you to be shot in front of a black or a white background?
They don't usually. Sometimes they'll ask. Most people, if they ask for black. Clients just like black. They think they look badass on black. So I'll always give them some black. But yeah, I vary it up a lot more now. I used to do everything on white. Just that was the way I did it. This is what you get, and that was it. And now I just do a variety.
Awesome. All right. So who are some of the other photographers that inspire you? Who do you follow on social media?
Well, Bruce Weber told me to pick up a camera, so I follow him, and he inspires me. Other photographers, we study photographers each month on the headshot crew we do a portrait probe thing. So I like Nadav Kander is amazing. We probed him. Who else did we probe recently? Paolo Kudaki we just probed last month. Mark Mann's pretty cool. I've been looking at his stuff recently. You know, Martin Scholler's I love his stuff. John Keatley's one of my friends, and I love seeing his stuff. He's doing a series right now of iPhone pictures, and he shot me with the mustache. I've yet to see it, but hopefully he's going to post it eventually. Yeah, there's a bunch out there. I think inspiration of others' work is huge, you know, and people should be looking at others' work. Like I said, John David Pittman's doing amazing work right now. Hold on. Fire near my apartment. Hold on. Let me call I'll jump back in. Let me just call my wife.
Sure. Please go ahead. All right, guys. We have Peter here. There is some situation, so he's going to come back soon. In the meantime, I see a lot of questions here. Guys, keep asking questions. We are writing these questions down, and we're gonna ask Peter all these questions when he's back, or if he's not questions and get the answers for you. All right, so let's wait for Peter to come back. In the meantime, I just wanted to remind everyone that we are going to have some amazing workshops by some of the world's best photographers. Let me just play the video again. So we have Ease, we have Luke, we have Tarun Kival, We have Moises and we have Bobby Peterson. All these are amazing photographers, guys. If you want to learn from them, please go ahead and register for this workshop. The best part is that it is just 999 rupees or $15, and 100% of the profits will be given to charity. All right, so Peter is back. Let me just try to add him. 1 second. All right, he's back. Just a few more seconds, he should be joining us.
I'm back.
Hey.
All right, cool.
Hey, what happened? Everything okay?
Yeah, there's a fire next to my apartment. It's not in my building. It's like somewhere that my wife had already knew when I called her. So
Oh, okay.
I think everything's all right.
Oh, awesome.
I got an alert on my phone that there was a fire right at my address, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
That is pretty awesome.
So
Who sends these alerts? That is pretty awesome.
It's through this service that I use. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I didn't expect it coming from them. I didn't expect it at my apartment. Jeez.
Yeah, well, it's good to have those kind of services. All right. So we actually had a lot of questions from people. Let me just. A lot of people have jumped to composite portraits. How do you feel about this industry?
I'm not into it for myself. I don't like compositing. I like getting the shot wherever I am. I just like it that way. But I think that a lot of photographers are making a lot of money with it. And if you could do it well, it's totally cool. It's just not my thing. I like capturing most of it in camera. I don't really do much post like that.
Okay. Somebody asking, do you hang out or work with Joe McNally, Lindsay Adler, Cliff Montaner?
I know all of them. I've hung out with all of them, and they're all really cool.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So, what have you learned about yourself from shooting portraits?
That I am a badass motherfucking photographer. No. No. Sorry, I'm swearing. Shouldn't be swearing like that. I think what I learned is that being passionate about something in life is the key. And what fires you up? Like I raced sailboats, and I was training for the Olympics, and I needed something that fired me up as much as that. And I picked up a camera, and it fires me up like that. So if photography fires you up, then it'll change you as a person. It definitely changed me. And then can you imagine that you point the camera at somebody, you press the button, and then they pay you, and you can have a living for yourself, like you can live off that? That's pretty friggin' cool. I mean, I don't work. I don't know about you. I don't feel like I'm working. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, everybody who is actually doing good work and who is really passionate about photography feels the same way. So yeah. So somebody is asking, how long did you practice before you called yourself a photographer? I think professionally.
I think it was very hard for me to call myself a photographer. Yeah. Well, I'll give you the progression. So I was modeling at the time. I picked up a camera, and a bunch of models picked up cameras. So I was like, I'm not a photographer. I'm just playing around with a camera. I don't feel like a photographer. I was making more money with photography than I was with modeling, and I still had trouble calling myself a photographer. And then finally I got over it. And then the next one that was even harder was calling myself an artist, because I never felt artistic at all. So that one took a really long time to understand. Wait a minute, I'm an artist too? That's crazy. Yeah. So.
All right. So this one we've already talked about. We already talked about. Oh yeah. So what are some techniques to get poses from a shy person with minimal lighting setup?
I mean, a shy person, you just have to, make sure they gain some confidence in you. If you're a good photographer, then they probably don't have a very good picture of themselves. So you should be able to say, hey, I'm going to create something really cool for you. And, we go from there. Can you kick out this person that keeps spamming? This Abdul Rahman wants to be famous. You got to take pictures first. Second of all, you got to shorten your Instagram handle. How are you going to be famous with an Instagram handle like that?
All right.
Fix that.
Yeah, done. All right. Okay, he's gone. Yeah, you were saying something about a shy person. Yeah.
I mean, they're out there, so you have to work with them. If they're getting in front of your camera, you have to build them through. There's like a series of steps you have to do to get them to be more confident. So I call them runners. They want to run. They want to avoid the camera. Most people get in front of cameras and diminish. So you just have to get them to sit in front of the camera first. Then you build them up and then they're diminished, but they're sitting in front of the camera. And then you pose them by teaching them things that make them look better, like the side of their face or squinching or getting their jawline out. And eventually they're going to hopefully get it and come around. But some people, it might take an hour. Some people, it might never happen. Some people might take 5 minutes. You don't know. Everybody's different.
So when you're working with such people, do you like shoot and show them the photographs like this is working, just move a little bit here? So do you work like that?
I only show them if the pictures are good. Like I wouldn't, like, first of all, if your lighting sucks, don't show them anything.
Yeah.
Because you're going to make things worse.
Yeah.
But if the pictures are good and the expression's good, I'll show them. But if the pictures are technically good, but the expression's bad, I generally won't show them until I get a good expression and say, this is the direction I want you to go, like this, keep going. And then that usually gets them excited. There's a lot of factors involved, and it's based on intuition. You have to be shooting enough people to be intuitive to decide, now is the time that I can show this person this picture, instead of 5 minutes before when that picture wouldn't have, pumped them up. You don't want to discourage them. You want to encourage them.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Somebody has asked, how do you create drama with lights? How do you create drama?
Using shadows and usually if you want to create drama, you're gonna shadow up stuff. So usually it's the use of shadows and shadow density, and then rim lights or kickers or lights that create, that backlight to create some drama. It's, depending on how many lights you have, and you could do it with one light and reflector, or you could do it with anything really. Do it with a window.
Somebody has asked, how do you use natural light for portraits? Do you do retouching after that? I think you're not shooting natural light now, so we can skip this. All right. Okay, what changes have you seen in your industry over the last several years? Like in the beginning, I mean, when you started, there must not be a lot of headshot photographers. Now there are a lot. So what is the transition that you're seeing in the industry?
I think there were just as many. I just think that now the way that you market it's different. Like when I started, there wasn't nobody. You had a website, but nobody advertised on Google or anything. Like it was all in magazines and stuff and print that you advertise. So now it's a lot of social, a lot of SEO is hugely important, which I guess it was important back then. There's a lot of different variables, but the one thing for me in New York is that space is really expensive. I don't know how I would start now because when I started, my space wasn't that cheap, but I was fortunate enough to get started, and then now my space is very expensive. But fortunately, I've been doing very well, so I'm okay.
All right. Somebody is asking, what keeps you going? I'm sure the situation isn't normal.
I mean, there's nothing to do but keep going, right? What are you going to do? Fold it up, jump out a window? There's nothing to do. I mean, I think that some photographers are going to have to shut down their business, maybe, which is unfortunate. But a lot of new photographers are going to, a lot of people lost jobs and they wanted to go pro anyway. So now they're like, well, I lost my job. I've always wanted to be a professional photographer. I'm going to open up. So I think it's going to be a mix of both, and we'll see who survives coming through it. But the fact is that I think it's going to come back. And I'm looking forward to shooting again and getting the studio rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Okay, so Peter, we are almost at the end here because it's a 1 hour. Instagram has a 1 hour session limit. So I'm just gonna skip. I have a lot of questions, so I'm gonna skip to last few questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I want to talk to you about something very important, very relevant to social media, which is self-acceptance. I saw your TED talk also, and so I really wanted to get your perspective on because nowadays self-acceptance is very hard, and especially in the younger generation, it's actually creating a lot of mess. So what do you think about that?
I think you got to constantly work on yourself. I mean, I'm constantly working on myself. I mean, it's a self-image is how you feel about your own persona and your place in this planet. I think it's hugely important that if you're going to build a business, you know, you have to look at yourself first. Like, how are you going to perform? Like, if you're not mentally charged about your life or where you're going or your belief in yourself, then how is your business going to take off? You know, you're going to be spinning your wheels. I think you really have to be, one, grateful that you have a camera in your hand, for sure. Just to have a camera and be able to, you know, potentially charge for taking pictures is an amazing thing. And then you have to be willing to work at it. And you don't have to have all the answers, but you do have to study. And you have to study not only photography, you have to study stuff that is good for yourself, like positive development and personal development and that type of thing. I study like that. We have a whole success track within the headshot crew that studies ourselves. We have this thing called the winner's image, and I work with Bob Proctor, who's a personal development coach, and he gave me the winner's image, and it's part of the headshot crew. So when you join the crew, you get in. It's a program where you can actually look into your self-image. And not everybody's been given obviously everybody's different, and we're all from different backgrounds, and we're born in different parts of the planet, and we didn't pick that. But hey, if you're watching this and you have the ability to put a camera in your hand, you're very fortunate, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do with it because you're an artist. But you've got to believe in yourself first. And if you're having trouble with that, or you're having trouble with the crisis that's going on, or you can't, you know, eat, you've got to eat first. You know, you got to be able to put food on the table and then get all that out of the way so that you can be an artist. So you've got to work on yourself. You know, it's huge, and you only have one shot at this, and you got put in whatever body you're in right now. So however it looks, and wherever you are on the planet, whatever you're dealing with, you just don't have a choice. You just have to step up to the plate and work best with the situation you're in.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it out there that everybody is going to come out of this on the other end stronger. And you know, if you're watching this, you're into photography, and you probably have the ability to take a pretty good picture, and you can start charging for it. But you got to make sure you're a positive human being first, I would say.
Yeah. All right. So, if you are not a photographer, which other art form do you wish you wanted, where you would have taken?
Art form? Oh my gosh, I'm not that. I mean, I love photography. I'm not that. I wouldn't be that into art. I'm not. I don't really. I don't know. I mean, if I wasn't a photographer, I'd want to be a professional sailor. Those are the two things I love. You know, that's an art form, I guess. Those guys have a good life. Those guys get to cruise around the world on sailboats. That's so cool.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I mean, this would end on its own. So we're just going to ask you the last question. So what do you think about the program, the Outgoing Introvert, that we're having? We are collecting different kind of artists and putting them on the same platform and asking them these bunch of questions.
I think it's awesome. And I think the fact that you're reaching out to photographers worldwide is really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And I know there's a lot of people into photography in India, and I hope that I can get over there eventually and hang out with you guys. I've been to India, but I've never been there for, you know, speaking on my craft. So I'd love to go over there and teach or something. It'd be cool.
Awesome. Yeah, we will love to have you. And at the end, I just want to say thank you, Peter, for coming on the session for us. It's really important, and giving so much time for all our audiences. I think we had a lot of questions. We still had a lot more questions which we couldn't ask, but we hope we can do this with you soon again sometime. And
For sure.
whenever you are in India, we'll definitely want to catch up with you. And if we are in New York, we'll definitely try to meet up.
Very cool. Thanks, guys. And everybody, take a look at the Headshot Crew when you get a chance. It was great being on.
Sure. And at the end, just I think you end everything with shabang, so just do that for us.
3, 2, 1, shebang! There we go.
All right. Thanks, Peter. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Bye-bye.